So what is a phase shifter? Well, it's an effect that goes back to the 70s, and it was used on a lot of guitars and keys, and it's still a very popular effect. And we keep adding more parameters to it and letting you do fancier things. You can get it in stereo or mono. But what is it? Well, basically, if you take a signal, and a lot of people know if you turn it 180 degrees out of phase and you mix a sound 180 degrees with itself, in other words, the wave is completely upside down, and you add it, you get silence. We call that phase cancellation. But if it's not exactly 180 degrees out of phase, or it's moving its phase, you're going to hear different frequencies boosted and different frequencies cut. And on an EQ analysis, it looks kind of like that, where some frequencies are loud, some frequencies are soft, and if you move that, it moves like this. It'll be easier to hear once I play it. And on keyboards, probably one of the main ways to hear this is on a clavinet. And so I'll do a standard clavinet riff. Okay, but you turn the phase shifter on, magic. And there are two main parameters on phase shifting. That's depth, which is how wide the phase shift is going. So if I turn it all the way off, it's not moving at all. And if I turn it a little, and if I go all the way, and so one of the things about setting a phase shifter is to get that depth so it's never going too high, it's never going too low. It's living right in between where your sound actually is. And then you've got speed. If you go too fast, it turns into a very odd sound, which might be useful, especially if you're doing it in real time and moving it. And you'll also find that depending on how deep it is and how fast it is, those things are very interactive, so you always have to do them both at the same time. This also works very well on electric piano sounds, so without. So now I'm going to go to a pedal version. This is the Source Audio Lunar Phaser, and it's beautiful in that it has stereo in and stereo out, and via computer you can see many, many parameters that you can get to change all sorts of things about your phase. And it's even powerful enough that it can also do chorus and flange if you want. But here's a basic phase sound, and here it is again with the Rhodes sound. Dry. And one of the things I really like to do with a phase shift is go slow. And there's another parameter on this pedal called resonance, which is basically feedback, where you're taking some of the phase shifted sound and putting it back into itself, making it even stronger. So here it is without, and now I'll turn up the resonance, which is different from depth. And this one even lets you do the shape of the up and down instead of just pure triangle. You can do other shapes. And so now here's the ASM Hydrasynth Explorer. The Explorer is the smaller version, but they all have exactly the same engine, the same effects and everything. So what I'm doing here is just playing a pad sound. But now I'm going to turn up the phase shifting. And one of the things I really like to do with phase shifting is go very, very slow. And this one will go very, very slow. It will go 0.02 hertz, which is probably going to end up being too slow. But I'll turn the feedback up a lot so you hear it. And the thing I like about doing that is instead of It's this very slow motion accenting and de-accenting different harmonics. And so if you're playing something over and over, you're going to keep hearing it in all different ways. Now I'll turn the feedback up so you really hear that. It seems more like a synthesis trick than an effect trick. So it's one of the reasons I really like it. But if you have any further questions about the Yamaha Reface CP or the ASM Hydrasynth Explorer or the Source Audio Lunar Phaser, please contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. My name is Daniel Fisher. Thank you very much for watching.